So all the other talks have been quite structured. I put on some GIFs and thought I'd round all them. So yeah, virtual reality. I have been a bit involved with virtual reality, so I have some things that I can convey to you. I'll talk about potential misconceptions you might have, what options there are for you to choose. What options you have to choose from out of the tech that's available for virtual reality, the potential challenges of VR development, and how applicable it is to game jams, which is quite a relevant topic. And then, if I have time, I'll show you some of the things I made. So, developing for virtual reality. Doesn't it just sound, VR, fancy difficult? Well, technically, from a technical standpoint, with all your game engines and whatnot, it really isn't. It's about as much technical difficulty as developing for any normal game. Economically, that's a different topic. So you've got a lot of different game engines which have built-in virtual reality support, which literally means if you have the headset, this is a DK2, we'll talk about it in a second, courtesy of the guy in the very beautiful t-shirt. But yeah, provided you have the technology and the power and the money, you can simply plug them into your game engine and most of them will just work, including Unity and Unreal Engine 4 and CryEngine, which were all mentioned earlier. Unity in particular is what I use. I have tried Unreal Engine, I found it harder to get into. So Unity is the one that I'd recommend if you are starting out. Steam VR is pretty cool. That is kind of what enables all this, especially when it's designed for the Vive, which is no doubt something you've heard of. But it also works with Oculus. So really, Steam VR integration is pretty much a godsend. So there are a few things to choose from with your technology. That is the Oculus Rift DK2. The little thing which you can't really see because it's kind of blurred. That's the Leap Motion, which we'll also talk about. And this came out a while ago, and it is this thing over here. If you're trying to get into virtual reality development, this might be a good starting point, because it is only £300 off of eBay. Only, that's small, guys. That's not much money at all, really. The Leap Motion itself is actually fairly cheap. But you have the Oculus DK2 over here, or you've got the consumer version of Oculus, which is only £600. Which is cool, or at least it will be significantly more cool once it gets these Oculus Touch controllers, which are little controllers you hold in your hands and they're all nice and lightweight, and they're not available yet. They should be out in December, I believe. And they will set you back only another $200 on top of that, which is, what, £150? Probably a bit less after today. Yeah, but for now you're looking at using a gamepad, so Oculus Rift, CV1, maybe. Here we get the Leap Motion, which is, like, you can buy this for £30 off of eBay probably. And it does this cool stuff, which involves having two cameras, stereoscopic, on the front of your VR helmet, or whatever you want to call it. And it looks at the outline of your hand, and it predicts, or it kind of guesses where your hand is and what the orientation and the shape of all your digits are based on those two images. And it's really, really cool. This over here on the right is something I made, which I'll hopefully show you later. Hello. And yeah, Leap Motion is something that is very suitable for game jams. In fact, at the hackathon at Hack Sheffield, they had a few of them knocking around that people were able to use. If you've never used it before, don't try and use it, because it's documentation. What documentation? And then you've got the Vive, which has got the tracked motion controllers, the Steam VR controllers, which are a godsend. They are fantastic. You can see this guy on the right, he's being thrown one whilst wearing the helmet, and he catches it, and it's pretty awesome. I have a Vive as well as a DK2, so I can confirm it's very good. This is the Lab, which is one of the games that you will get with your Vive, assuming you buy one, for £750. Because everyone has the money lying around for that, right? That's the worst thing about virtual reality so far, is that it is really expensive, even though it has become like consumer level stuff now. So yeah, moving on from technology, those are your main ones. You've also got very cheap alternatives, like Google's new fancy headset, or older fancy headset, made of cardboard. Costs you a few pounds, if that. And so you can develop for like Android and mobile stuff, which is probably your cheapest way into VR. But then you're lacking all the input schemes like Leap Motion, like the Steam VR controllers. And then there's also like Samsung Gear VR, also from Oculus, which is like £100 or something to that effect. But otherwise, for like proper full-length games, you're looking at several £100s. So, assuming you do have your recently bought VR headset, how are you going to make games for it? What are you going to develop your games to be like? So here's my first convoluted metaphor, one of potentially many. If the chair on the left is how you design normal games, and the chair on the right is how you should design VR games, then a lot of games right now are kind of doing whatever that is. It's kind of halfway in between. It's like, we want to be a game, but we want to have VR support, so let's just take game and bridge to VR. That's not how it works. Don't do that. It's bad. It's really bad. Too many people doing that currently. And as a result, a lot of VR games that are out currently are either games that already exist on PC or whatever system you want that have got VR support, so they're not perfect for VR, or they are just little demos with no particular depth to them. So yeah, what you want to be doing is trying to design for VR. And of the games that actually do exist currently that do this well, Budget Cuts is my particular favourite. I'm hopefully going to play you a short trailer of Budget Cuts right now, assuming this works, because the dossier video earlier from Owen did not work. I would like to open this file, thank you. So, Budget Cuts is currently a small demo that was made, it was released a while ago actually, from a company called Neat Corporation. They are working on a full game. I can't maximise that, oh well. So yeah.
Welcome to Transport. We develop and refine space-time technology to perfection. We are looking for the smartest, fastest, oldest spies around the world to infiltrate the highly secured facilities of our worst enemies. You'll need to cover your tracks like a professional. Leave nothing to chance. But above all, make it quick.
Budget Cuts. So it's a game involving throwing knives and teleporting and infiltrating an office and deadly robots. And it's very good. It does VR game design right, for a few different reasons. Number one being that in VR, your real body back in VR doesn't have much room to walk around in, because generally if you have a VR headset, it's going to be in a room in your house. So how do you explore the world without stuff like that happening? Stupid GIF number one. Yeah, it kind of illustrates my point vaguely, in that you don't have a limited space, and you will feel like you do have a limited space, because when you're wearing your VR headset, you don't necessarily have to have walls around you. So teleporting is the main mechanic used in VR games to get around currently. Because before teleporting, all the games were trying to just add VR support, like I talked about with the chairs and the whatnot. And so it was like gamepad, move the analog stick forward and your character will move through the world, like any other video game you've ever played. Except for VR, that's death by motion sickness. Because if you think about it, you feel like you are in the game. That is like the boon of virtual reality. So if you feel like you are standing there in the game and then all of a sudden the universe is spinning round you and things are moving utterly not by your will, it's quite sickening. The science behind it is that your vestibular system is the bit of you which senses when you're accelerating in your ear. And if you suddenly start accelerating forwards visually, your eyes are telling you that you're moving, but your ears are telling you you're stationary. Bit of a mismatch, causes motion sickness. So not a good idea. So you may think that virtual reality is quite limiting in that regard, in that you have to teleport around, or it is at least one of the most commonly used mechanics for moving around in VR, which causes you to... I mean, it's not great for mechanics-wise. So you've got a big enemy thing which is going to attack you with a sword, just teleport away. Whee! You know? You'd think that it would make it more difficult to design. But there are ways around it. And even though VR has got all those limitations, you need to stop thinking about it in terms of the games you've already played and start designing for VR, because what it has that other games vaguely have, or don't really have, is presence. The industry buzzword of presence, which is that you feel like you are in the game. So this particular thing, I can't remember what it was, and I really should have got an image of what he's seeing right there, but basically he's on a plank,
Oh, sorry, I know this actually.
Oh, what is it?
It's in Japan. It's this kind of like VR thing where essentially that's in VR that's a plank hanging over the edge of a skyscraper with a cat on the end. So he thinks like, I mean obviously he knows he's not, but like yeah, he thinks he's kind of walking.
Yeah, exactly. He's present in it. He's got the trepidation, right? Because he feels like he's hanging off the edge of the skyscraper. And so if you forget about the teleporting for now, the mechanic that you can't get in regular video games is he has to will himself to walk forward and kind of shakily walk the plank. So that's something really powerful. It's what you should be trying to design your VR games to include, because it's pretty good. There are a few drawbacks to presence, in that you do believe things are actually there. What she's doing right now, if it's not obvious, is trying to lean on a table, which is not there. So if you think about it, that illustrates the point quite well, that there are drawbacks to VR, as in the stuff isn't actually there. But then again, you can fool your user into thinking the stuff is there. And if you think about virtual reality horror and things like that, it's really powerful. So take advantage of those things. I can't say that I have particularly. I have done a fair amount of VR stuff messing around, but I'm kind of preaching without backing it up, because the games I've made have got a lot of mistakes. And I've learned from those mistakes, I would hope. But this is one of the first things I made. You may recognize it from an anime called Sword Art Online. I don't care what your opinions on the anime are. I watched it, I enjoyed it, but it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. What's important is that this is the leap motion I'm using on the front of the DK2 over here, and the leap motion is great because you have this interaction, right? Your fingers, you've got your digits, and they're all lovely and flexible and dexterous. With a controller, with an Xbox controller, you've got analog sticks and buttons, and that's it, Whereas you've got limitless possibilities and precise accuracy and stuff. So, also another good thing of the leap motion, another reason why you should use it, is that it has